Hello and welcome to the February 2018 edition of From the Desk of. My name is Tim Moody. I'm the Public Information Officer with the Randolph County School System, and I'm here with our superintendent, Dr. Stephen Gainey. As we do each month, we come before our fine community and talk about the great things that are going on in our school system. Each month we venture out to a different school, and today we are at Providence Grove High School. And Dr. Gainey, I'll let you kick things off by just talking a little bit about this great school.
Well, Tim, this is a great school. Rick Dawes was the first principal here. He opened the school, and he was a very successful principal in our school system. And when he left the school, Brad Walston followed him, and Brad has now been here 4 years. Very proud of the school, very proud of the staff. The kids do a great job, both during the school day and in the activities they're involved in outside the school day. So it's a great environment, and I attribute that a great deal to the two principals who have had their hands in developing this environment. Again, Rick started this school and did a great job, and you can see plenty of things here that his hands were on, and very proud of what he did, and then been very proud of seeing what Dr. Walston has taken the school from since his time where he's taken it. And it's just a great school, great kids, great staff.
And for those who watch our monthly interviews, you know that we love to use these interviews to talk about the great things that are going on, but we'll just acknowledge up front that this interview is going to have perhaps a bit of a different tone in the wake of what happened in Parkland, Florida. Actually, a week ago today, it was February the 14th. To say that it impacted schools and school systems across the country would be an understatement. Dr. Gainey, I just want to open it up to you and give you a moment to talk about how that event has just resonated with you and perhaps the impact on our school system.
Well, Tim, what happened last week in Florida is just absolute tragedy, and you know, I can't even imagine what that community is going through right now. It impacts so many people. It impacts the students and the staff at the school and the community, the surrounding community. And I've always looked at schools as being a comprehensive effort between community members and the actual students who are involved in the school and their parents and staff. So, you know, I just can't even imagine what that community is going through, and my heart goes out to them. And you know, what it does is it reminds us of our to be grateful for the great days we have, and make sure that we're always taking care of maintaining safe conditions on our campuses every day. So, you know, our staff, I'm very proud of what our staff members do here. We have a lot of staff members that are always working in the direction of providing academic opportunities for children, but also working for safe conditions for children at all times. So it just reinforces our need to maintain safe conditions, and also, again, I'd say to the people in Florida, I wouldn't even know what to say, because this tragedy is going to stay with them for years in that community, and those kids and parents and community members, so and the staff at the school.
And so this might be a good time to just sort of remind our community, or maybe just inform our community, because I would expect they're curious, what do schools do in preparation, at the beginning of a school year, for example, in preparation for crisis situations like this? What are some of the training or some of the preparations that go into that?
Well, we have a lot of safety procedures in place, and we start the year, every staff member watches a safety video at the beginning of the year that talks about certain situations that may arise. So we require staff members to watch that every year, and it's, you know, it's not, well, I watched it and I don't watch it again. If I stay with the school system, it's a yearly video. It's something we do in the beginning of the year when teachers come back and staff comes back. But we have our safety procedures in place, whether it be for, we do fire drills monthly, or we have our lockdown procedures for situations that may be incidents of violence on a campus. So we work hard at it. We have drills regarding our lockdown procedures, and our principals have really taken those procedures and really maintained them as far as making sure people know what their role is in these procedures. And I'm really proud of our staff for the response we get from their, you know, interest in knowing what they're supposed to be doing with their procedures, and also when the schools practice and have drills to practice them. So, you know, Tim, I'm just so proud of what our teachers and our principals and all do to take care of kids every day, and our kids and their response to staff. So I feel very good, and I feel like we have, you know, last time I looked, 2,500 employees, and I feel like we have 2,500 employees that would do whatever it took to take care of kids. at any time and make sure they're safe. So that's what makes me rest easy at night, is knowing that we have so many employees who, yes, they want kids to perform and do well academically, but they're not going to do anything to jeopardize the safety of our children.
So Dr. Gainey, when grief or a difficult crisis situation hits a school campus, there are a lot of things that start to happen. A lot of wheels are set in motion. And I know something that we're asked of a lot is, when something bad happens, how do we take care of our students and staff? And as timing would have it, this very school, Providence Grove High School, experienced just this just a few weeks ago with a student fatality. A student was killed in an automobile accident. So these types of things happen. Certainly the news passes through the school quickly. What do we do as a school system to assist our people in a time like this?
Well, Tim, one of the things I'm really proud of is our principals. We have 31 principals in the school system. I feel very good about what they're doing to lead their schools. And when situations like this occur, it does not take long before we're on the phone with each other. They're calling me, and then we're talking to the Director of Student Services at Winter Ashworth, and we're beginning to put plans in motion. I don't know that there's any particular step-by-step where we follow the same exact steps every time, but one of the first focuses we have is, what are we going to do to provide support for the students and the staff members on that school's campus? Because you got to remember, yes, the students, it's going to go through the student body, and students are going to be upset when something like what happened last week, where we had a student lost his life at this campus, or a member of the student body on this campus lost his life. You're going to have that affect your student body. But in this business, the relationships that staff members build with kids, you can't overlook the impact that's going to have on your staff. You just can't. So one of the first things we do is we have assist teams. And assist teams are about 15, 16 individuals, and it would be your counselors, your psychologists, social workers, your nurses, and student advocates. That, and that's the group of individuals that are on different assist teams. We have multiple assist teams throughout the school system, and so they've been trained. And what happens is, when Ashworth will call the leader of one of those teams and say, I need you to be at this school, and it usually starts the next day. And what they provide is support, opportunities for children to have another adult to talk to if they're struggling with the situation, and it's in many forms a counseling support, a source of counseling support. But what happened here was, it was a very tragic situation, and you talk about a school handling it as good a job as anybody could do. It was this school, and I feel like that happens anytime we have these situations. You surely hope these situations never occur, but I've been really proud of our principals, and Dr. Walston did a great job leading the staff. But you got to remember too, the reason why you need that assist team to come in is because we talked about relationships so much in our school system, and so many school systems talk about it. Well, you're very leader of the school. Dr. Walston's has relationships with these kids. And so you've got to be prepared to provide support even for the leader of the school. And so you can't say, well, this happened, but it's not going to impact a certain group of your staff members so they can handle all the situations that arise among the student body or among staff members. You got to be ready to support all of them, and that's what those assist teams provide. And it's just, we've had a lot of support from the community, and just really proud of how that all was handled last week. Again, you never want to deal with these situations. And the question you asked about Florida, and so what Dr. Walston dealt with last week, I dealt with that as a high school principal myself, and I was a middle school principal. But so sometimes when these situations happen, I slow down and think, even with the situation in Florida, what if I was that principal? Or what, in Dr. Walston's case, or what if I was the principal sitting in Florida? What would I be thinking and contemplating? Or even with the situation in Florida, if I sit and say, well, now I've got 31 principals, and they've just seen this. What are they thinking about right now? And what would I be thinking about if I was a principal and knew I had children coming to my campus with the anxiety levels that were created by that situation? And then you think about the situation that you mentioned just now with the accident with the Providence Grove student. You have to sit back and say, there's always a time when I say, okay, I know Dr. Walston is going to lead here, but if I was in his seat, what would I be thinking? And I hope those parallels I hope in some way that we can provide support for these leaders of these schools in those ways as well.
So we have moved to the Career Development Lab here at Providence Grove High School. And so Dr. Gainey, now just want to talk about some big events that are coming up throughout our district over the coming days and weeks. This Friday evening is the All-County Band Concert. That features middle school and high school band students from our school system and also for Asheboro City Schools. I know that's an event you attend each year, so talk a little bit about that.
Well, it is an exciting event, Tim. It shows real talent that we have in our school system, musical talent, and you hear these children perform, and you'll hear the middle school band, All-County Middle School Band perform, then the All-County High School Band. It's just exciting. The conductor of each band is brought in from outside. They work with these two groups, and it's just exciting to see how talented these children are. And it's always well attended. It's always great. We have several events of this nature where we partner with Asheboro City Schools, and they're very good partners of ours. So exciting night, and their auditorium at Asheboro High School is beautiful. I always love going over there. So it'll be a good night for our school system and theirs, and for the kids involved and the parents there'll be plenty of proud parents and staff members there that night watching kids.
Another annual event is Read Across America that commemorates Dr. Seuss' birthday, and all 17 of our elementary schools participate in that. That will be Friday, March the 2nd. I know you're involved as a volunteer reader, as are others on our leadership team and throughout our central office, and also some community members, but talk a little bit about that.
Well, Tim, that will be an exciting day for a lot of people. As you know, we read in classrooms and elementary classrooms throughout the school system, throughout the school year with our Leadership Reads program. So I always enjoy going to those elementary classrooms and interacting with the students, and getting to see the teachers, seeing the teachers' classrooms, and it's always fun. But this day involves a lot more people than just the leadership team. There will be board members. There'll be Chamber of Commerce members have been involved in the past, central service staff members, as you said, and leadership team members. So it'll be exciting. I think my day is going to be at Grace Chapel. I think I'm going to 4 different classrooms that day. So very much looking forward to that. Anytime we can reinforce what I think is the most important skill, academic skill that a child can continue to improve at is reading, because reading touches just about every facet of their academic career and their lives. And I talk to children about that all the time, about, you read in every part of the school building, and sometimes when I'm talking to them, they'll say, I don't read in the gym. And I'll say, well, you do. There's rules on the wall. And then I talk about in math, it's not just reading word problems, it's reading numbers. So these kind of opportunities where we can reinforce academic skills and the importance of them with children, I think, are important, and we need to take advantage of them. So very excited about next Friday, but I'll tell you, I get excited every time I get to go in one of the elementary classrooms, and I always, these elementary teachers are just, they do so many things over the course of the day, the different subjects they're teaching and all, and I'm just amazed at what they get done in their classrooms. And I say that because I've been a middle school and a high school principal, and I just never been much in elementary classrooms until I took this position, and been very excited to see all the great things they do in their classrooms. And so I'm sure beyond reading on Friday, March 2nd, I'll see something else exciting going on there that I have yet to see in an elementary classroom. So looking forward to it, and I know the adults that will be involved are very much looking forward to it as well.
And speaking of elementary schools, another big date on the calendar is Tuesday, March the 6th. That is our annual kindergarten registration night from 5 to 7 p.m. It's a floating event at all of our elementary schools. So that's a significant date because that's when parents need to register their children.
Well, yes, kindergarten registration, we really need people to come out in the spring and go ahead and register their children so we can get the best numbers we can possibly gather early on as far as enrollment for kindergarten. So March 6th, there will be a floating event at each one of the elementary schools from about, I think it's 5 to 7. And, if you don't come March 6th, you obviously have, you can still register. You need to go to the school site to register whatever school your child will attend. But we hope we can get a good number out, and so we can get a good picture of what our kindergarten numbers are going to look like next year. It'll be an exciting time to see, you'll see some families come and they've already had several children with us, so it's not their first kindergarten experience with a child. But then there'll be families, and this is the first child they're bringing to kindergarten. So you'll see a lot of different scenarios, and just excited to meet new families and to reinforce our appreciation of families who've been with us and bringing another child to us. So because we do value that. We value, and I value the trust they put in us to take care of their children, help them learn academically and grow academically, and also be safe, as we talked about earlier in the video. So I do value that trust they place in us, because, when it comes down to it, and it goes back to the thing we talked about with the tragedy in Florida and the situation they dealt with here last week with the accident with students. At the end of the day, the things parents care about the most is their children. And they care about their children, and it's our job to take care of them and help them grow when they're with us. And so, like I say, some families, that'll be their first experience with us. Other families, they'll be bringing another child to us. And either way, we're going to be happy and take them and take care of them.
Right. In our last interview, we talked about the spelling bee that at that time was coming up. Of course, we've had the spelling bee now. And Allie Pop from Uwharrie Ridge, 612, a sixth grader there, was our winner. But I know you enjoyed that event so much. I want to give you just a moment to talk about that.
Well, I'm just impressed with all the children. I mean, sometimes I sit there, I was talking earlier about I try to put myself back in that principal seat when things happen at schools and try to think, what would I be thinking about if I was the principal? And that kind of helps me guide them. Well, I sit there at Spelling Bee and I wonder, what are the kids thinking about when they're sitting on the stage? You go in and the Sunset Theater is full of parents and adults out in the crowd and family members, maybe siblings out there. But you often wonder what those guys are thinking up there on the stage. And I've heard some words spelled in Spelling Bee I didn't know existed. That's kind of bothersome, but because I'm thinking, well, I thought I had a pretty good knowledge of vocabulary, but there's been some word every year I go in saying, well, what word am I going to hear today that I didn't know existed? So, but very proud of the kids, and the amount of character, high level of character and confidence in yourself it takes to be up on that stage and in front of everybody and give your best effort. And just really proud of Allie. I've known Allie for a while. As she's continued to move through our school system, a great child, comes from a great family. So very proud of her, and just like to watch all the kids and how they react to that situation when they get to the microphone and they get a word and they have no idea what word's going to come at them, and it just shows a lot of character of our children.
And still another big event, an annual event, is Youth Art Month. It's March 7th through the 26th. We do it every year. It's at the Arts Guild in downtown Asheboro. A lot of talent on display at the Guild, so talk about that. Well,
Tim, that's kind of this month coming up, Youth Art Month, is kind of like what we're talking about with the All-County Band. I mean, the key word is talent. Friday night we're going to see tremendous musical talent. And then during the month of March, we're going to see tremendous artistic talent with our children in visual arts. I'm always amazed at the things that are displayed throughout the month and the talent level of our children. Just really, it's a month to showcase the great talents of our children. And sometimes when you've been in this, this is year 25 for me, and I don't know in year 1 through 5 I saw things the way I did in year 6 through 10 or even the last 5 years here. But you start thinking, well, these talented individuals in society, whether it be musicians or artists or great leaders, they came from somebody's school system way back. They grew up in somebody's school system. So I kind of, when I go around and go to different things and events and see kids' artwork on display, I kind of wonder, well, which great artist is coming out of our school system next? Because there's going to be one. There's going to be one or more. And what great leaders coming out of our school system, or leaders, or musicians. And so this month just kind of, that's what it kind of, the month of March when we're talking about that Youth Art Month, I just start thinking about the word talent, because we have talent all over the school system. We have great kids all over the school system, and they're very talented. So looking forward to all that plays out that month with the kids in the visual arts area. Okay. So as we wrap up our February interview, Dr. Gainey, I'll just turn it over to you for some closing thoughts. Well, Tim, we're getting ready to head downhill pretty quick towards the end of the school year. We're almost to March, and we've talked about All County Band, we've talked about the Youth Art Month, and before you know it, we're going to be talking about final exams and high school graduations and all the different awards assemblies that the other levels of school have. I just want to say, you know, a big thank you to the community, because there's a lot of things we can't control. We can't control the weather. January was a very, very difficult month for our school system, and as far as weather went, it was very difficult. It took us a long time to get high school exams done. And I just, you know, the community, you just don't know how much I appreciate you. Absolutely love this community. And when I say community, I talk about the whole, I'm speaking about the whole county. Everybody works with us when we go through these difficult times of weather. The tragedy in Florida has led to increased anxiety in our community and other communities around the country. And end of the day, I always feel very comfortable that our community is doing everything they can to help us and support us as we work through these types of situations. So, you know, it's the weather, and then the tragedy in Florida, and you know, we had the accident here at Providence Grove, and this affected this community a great deal last week, and will continue for a while. You know, those things you can't control. You can't control those things other than how you deal with them moving forward, and I feel very good about the amount of support we get from our community. So I say thank you to the community, because we can't do this alone. We can't have a successful school system that continues to get better without everybody involved and everybody's support, and that's one thing we've never lacked, is support from our students, our parents, community members, and staff members. So, you know, I really would just say when I get to the end of February where we are now, I'm thinking, you know, there's a bunch of big thank yous out there, and you know, we'll continue to work through things, but we're going to be at the end of the school year before you know it. As we stand here today, I think my car was showing maybe almost 75 degrees, if not higher. I'll take that as a February day any day compared to what we had back in January. So.
Absolutely. Dr. Gainey, thank you. And thank you again to Randolph Communications for your partnership with us each month. Thank you to the community for allowing us to come before you. And as always, give us the opportunity to talk about the great things that are happening in our schools. We will see you in March.